back to my craft channel. Hope you're all doing okay. First things first, before I properly get into the video, I have changed my YouTube channel name and my Instagram name. So it's now Primrose Faiy Crafts. I thought it was a bit more relevant to the channel, to be honest, but I'm still the Primrose Faiy, but it's now called Primrose Faiy Crafts. I haven't been able to change the background on my YouTube channel yet, so I will get round to doing that eventually. So I'm sorry this video is quite late. I hope to do it in 2 weeks, but yeah, it's impossible. But I'm trying my best to just keep going with it. I love doing it, so yeah, nearly every day I'm just doing, even if it's just 10 minutes of crafting, I'm doing it. So I'm lucky I've got a video out, to be fair. So in this week's video, I'm showing you how to make paper flowers. So I've got a book that Kieran got me for my birthday last year, I believe. This one here, if you can see it. Beginner's Guide to Paper Flowers. Is great. So yeah, it's like step-by-step guide. There's also templates at the back. So I decided to make some roses in there, climbing rose. And this is what I made. Hang on. There we go. I'm hoping you can see that. So yes, made the paper flowers, made the roses, made the leaves, the stems, buds, and then I bought an IKEA frame. But we had to alter it. So I say we, Kieran did it. We had to alter the frame so that the leaves would fit inside. So I had to do a little bit of DIY at the back. But I think it's turned out really well. It looks lovely in a frame. Yeah, and it protects the flowers as well, so they don't get dusty or whatever. So this is what we're going to make, guys. Yeah. Without further ado, I will list the tools and materials below. So let's get to it. Okay, so for this project you do need origami paper. You can use whatever origami paper you want. I've just got this one here, which is recommended in the book. So it's called Tant. You can get it on Amazon. It is very good quality paper. So it's got like a texture to it. It's like thicker than most papers. So yeah, but it's up to you, whatever you want to use really. This is what they recommend in the book, so this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to show you how to make a rose first. So I've chosen this coloured paper. You can use whatever you want, whatever colour you want. First thing you want to do is to make a template of your rose petal. In the book at the back they have got templates. You don't have to use this. I mean, you can if you want, but of course you'd have to get the book. So you can do your own, and it doesn't really matter what size or shape they are, as long as you've got the basic shape for a rose petal. So I've got my template here. So it looks like a heart actually. So if you just draw a heart, I'll measure this one for you. Hang on a second. Yeah, so this roughly measures 3 centimetres high by 2.5 centimetres wide. So that's just a rough estimate of what I'm doing. Yeah, so you just place your template on your paper. Make sure you've got a nice sharp pencil, and then you just trace around your petal like that. So you do this 13 times to make your basic rose. Okay, so that's all 13 petals, and then I've also drawn a little circle that's going to be for the base to stick them to. So now you want to get a nice sharp pair of scissors, and basically cut them all out. It's a bit laborious, but I find it actually weirdly relaxing. So I'll just cut one of them out. Yeah, you just do that 13 times. Right, so here they all are. Just put them in a little pot, just so I don't lose one. This is optional, but because you can still see the pencil on the outside there, I do like to rub it out just so that you can't see it, basically. You don't need to do that, but I'm a perfectionist, so I always do it. Okay, so I did that off camera, so they're all nice and clean now. Now the next part, you want to curl and shape the petals. So to do this, you use Chopstick. If you haven't got a chopstick, you can always use a paintbrush or a pencil, it doesn't matter really. But I quite like using the tip of the chopstick because it curls, it makes really good curls. So to do this, you just wrap the paper around the chopstick and sort of like run it along like that, if that makes sense. So you've got like a curl, whoop, like that. Now this part's going to stick to the base, this pointed end, and then you just curl the sides. You curl the top parts, each corner. Just keep rolling it around the chopstick, and then it produces these really nice curls. So which makes it look like a petal. It's really effective. And you can, to make it more realistic, you can curl the petals in whatever, different directions. So you've got two coming in, you can just do it quickly. So you can do one curling in, and then the other curling out. Sorry, I know it does look quite finicky, but once you get used to it, there we are. Oh, and then I haven't done the bottom bit. I'd say the thinner, because I made a mistake by trying to curl up here. Well, this part's too thick. You need a nice thin part to really get a curl going. There we go. And you can always fiddle around with it. So that makes a nice petal. Okay, so here are all my curled petals, and this is what they look like. Looks a little bit like confetti, wedding confetti. The next part then is to start gluing. So for the glue, I'm using this one here. It's just a tacky PVA glue. You can just use normal PVA glue. I wouldn't use a Pritt stick because I don't think that would be strong enough. I would tend to use a liquid glue for this project, like a tacky one, just so that when it does dry, it's a bit firmer. It shouldn't come apart, so I'm using this one. You don't need a lot either, so I'm literally just gonna pour a little amount. That's actually too much, so that's how little glue you use. I use a toothpick, cocktail stick, whatever you want to call it. And if you remember the little circle base that we cut out, we need that. So now this is finicky. I won't lie to you. Let me see if I can get him closer. Now you want to try and find the center of this circle. You don't need to be really accurate, to be honest. You don't need to be, but if you can measure it. It's up to you. So you want a tiny amount of glue, like tiny, on the edge of a petal, and then you want to stick this so that the point of the petal is in the center, like that. Now you want 5 petals around here, so I'm just going to do that real quick. And you want them to be next to each other. Like that. And you just keep going all the way around. Okay, so that's what it should look like. Don't worry if they're flat at the moment. they will be just because you're gluing them down. But when it's dried, then you can start shaping them again. And you want to glue this in between the other petals. So like you want one there, but still in the centre, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Like that. Putting them in between. So there we are, that's another 5 petals attached. And then the next layer, you're going to put 3 in there. So there we are. There's your rose. Okay, so that one's been drying for a little while. And then you can, I mean, I think this one looks fine, but you can even, you know, go over some of the petals just to make them a bit more curly or what have you. You don't need to do this, but if you just want the petals to be have a little bit more shape to them or whatever, just go over with your chopstick. Now a little tip I've got for keeping the shape is good old toilet rolls. I've got some in here already actually, whoops. So what I've been doing is it's the perfect shape actually. Been putting a rose in here to keep the shape. Look at that. Lovely. So yeah, anyway, that is your finished rose. It looks so pretty. Okay, so these are the ones I've made off camera. So there are 6 large roses using 13 petals. And then I've also made these smaller ones. And these use 8 petals. So there's 5 on the first layer and then 3 in the middle. Made just the same way as the bigger ones, but they're just slightly smaller. So the next thing to make are the leaves. So I've used 3 different shades of green, 22 leaves altogether. So I've already made 13 off camera. So now I need to make another 9 using this shade. So this is my template here. I'll just measure it real quick for you guys if you want to make the same one. So it is about 5.5 centimetres long and about 3 centimetres wide. So this is the leaf shape here, and just make sure that you cut ridges into it to make that leaf shape. So we'll draw around the template like we did with the petals. There we go. And then just keep going basically. Right, so that's 9 there that I've drawn around. Now we've got to cut them out. Lovely. For this part I'm using some really fine scissors. I just find it a little bit easier to work with, to be honest. Okay, there is 1 leaf. 8 more to go. Right, so that's all the 9 leaves there. I've cut them all out and then rubbed off all the pencil. So next part is to emboss the leaves. So you'll need something, I've just got some felt here that I've folded over. You could use some fabric of some kind and just layer it so that it's a bit thicker. I'm going to use just a normal paintbrush. And use the end for the embossing. So you basically want to make the leaf shape. So I'm just going to go down like this. As you can see, it's like embossed. And then make the leaf shape here. Or leaf design, should I say. Going down. You don't need to be exact, like you can just do whatever you want really. As long as it looks a bit leaf-like. It also doesn't matter if the leaf curls a bit, because that's actually quite helpful. It makes it look a bit more realistic. There we go. As you can see, there's a bit of a curl there, which is quite nice. So that's the leaf there. Looks really effective. You just need to do that 8 more times. So these are all the finished leaves. And I've also got some darker leaves as well, using some darker green paper. There we go. As you can see, it's really effective, the way it's turned out, the embossing. Now you also want to cut out a few bud shapes, like this. And again, same process. So I've got a bigger paintbrush this time, so you just want to use the end of it and just keep swirling around. Ooh, until it sort of like puffs up. Just keep going round in circles, and then you'll get like a puffed up bud. So I've got a few more here as well. There we go. So it looks like 3D. You also want some stems. So here they are. Yeah, you'll want 7 shorter green stems, and then 4 longer stems. My paper wasn't long enough, so I've actually had to cut a bit extra for the stem. I mean, you can have them as long or as short as you want, really. Yeah, just depends on your composition of the flowers, the flower arranging. Again, oops, the book does show, you know, the templates for what to use and how long they are. Again, you don't need to use that, but I'm just going to measure it real quick. So the longer stems are 22 centimetres long, and then the shorter ones are, so if you want to do it exactly like mine, 8 centimetres long. Just make sure they've got a little bit of a curve to them, like this. So you've got all your bits. Let me get all the bits here. The buds and the leaves. There they all are, lovely. And now we need to arrange them all together. Okay, so this is the rough composition that I've chosen. It's very similar to the one in the book, which is this one here. But I wanted to keep it close to the original because I really liked the composition, so that's what I've chosen. So now I need to transfer this to a white sheet of paper and glue it down. I will just say also, it might be a good idea to take a picture at this point. So take a picture of what you've created on the desk so that you've got a reference point for when you start gluing it. I've also just popped my frame on top, and it actually, I didn't even measure it, but it works really well, the size. So yeah, whatever frame you use, just make sure obviously that you cut your piece of paper to the size of the frame, and then so that, you know, you've got enough space. But yeah, so far it's looking good. Okay, so I've now transferred it over to the paper, the backing of the photo frame. So now I just need to glue it down. Now, for glue, I'm going to use this one here. So it's Fabri-Tac, it's called. It's really good glue, this one. Yeah, it's very strong as well, so it should keep it in place, hopefully. Okay, I just want to explain briefly. So with the stems, you want to pop a bit of glue on the bottom and the top, because you don't want it flat on the paper because it won't look right. You want a little bit of life in it still. So let's do that. Now I am just going to eyeball this. I know I'm mad, but that's the way I roll, baby. Right, let's see. A little bit on the bottom. That'll do. Yeah, see, it's just got a bit of give to it still. Almost gives it like a 3D effect in a way. Now with the leaves, you just want to apply glue to this bottom part here, the stem part. Again, this will give it a 3D effect. Okay, for some of this, I'm going to actually use the tacky glue because it's a little bit easier to handle. So, because you can handle it with the what do you call it? Cocktail stick. Right, so I've finished gluing all the leaves and stems and the buds. So they're all nicely on now. And now I need to stick the roses. So I'm going to use, so for the leaves I did use the Fabri-Tac, and then for the stems I just used the tacky glue. So for the roses I'll use this stuff because it's a lot stronger. First rose is going down. I'm going to put this one on its side a little bit. And you can use the back of a paintbrush just to stick it down, hold it down. There we go. Lovely. And basically now you can do the rest. Okay, so this is the finished piece. They've all been stuck down, just waiting for them to dry now, but yeah, they're pretty stuck on now, which is good. Now all I need to do is attach it to the frame and then it will be finished. So yes, that's how you make the paper flowers, or the roses at least. I won't be able to share the templates just because it is, I don't really want to share templates from another book. The book is, however, on Amazon if you wanted to have a look, but I have listed the dimensions that I've used below, and I mentioned it in the video, in case you wanted to do it exactly. Flowers are so individual, they always look different. No two flowers are the same. It will just add to the authenticity of the piece. Don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yes, also I did fill in a few, I don't know if you can see, I did fill in a few bits here. So I've added some leaves because there was a bit of gapping there. So altogether I made 26 leaves and 9 roses. So that's how many I used. It does take a while to make. As I said, it took me 2 weeks, but that's because I've got a 5-month-old baby. So that's why it took me 2 weeks. But I think you could bust that out in like, I don't know, 2 days, maybe even a day, if you were really going for it. The tedious part is the cutting out, and the rubbing out of pencil. You don't need to do that. It's just me. I'm, a perfectionist. But yeah, that's what you need to do to make it. So hopefully you'll have a go because they look really effective. It would be an ideal gift for someone, birthday gift or anniversary or what have you. And even a wedding, you could make those for someone's wedding and they'll always have them, especially if you frame them. They'll always have those flowers to remind them of their special day. So yeah, do that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Next video, I'm going to be boshing out the autumn and Halloween crafts. Hopefully, that's my goal. I've got a few ideas in the pipeline, so yeah, stay tuned for that. But for in the meantime, hope you're all okay. Give that craft a go if you can, if you want to. And I shall see you in the next video. Okay, thank you.